All right, guys, I don't think there's ever been a better time to make money online than today. Why? Well, because AI is completely flipping the industry, every industry on its head. It's creating tons of threats, tons of opportunities for smart people like you and I to take advantage. And in today's video, I want to talk about 5 different business ideas that I'm looking at that are software based, leveraging AI to solve interesting problems. And we're going to talk about the statistics that are driving, the data that's driving these ideas. And I'm going to give you 5 different ideas. And you can either run with these or you can do your, make up your own. It doesn't really matter. Before we get into these specific business ideas and the stats, I just want to kind of explain a little bit of the thought process that goes into what we're trying to develop. So what makes this period of time very interesting is that you can actually create apps and develop software with zero coding experience. I've been spending a lot of time with Replit. There's other programs, but Replit is my drug of choice right now for developing software. I have zero coding experience. I'm smart. I'm a problem solver. I can figure things out, but I'm not a software engineer. So what I'm looking to do, and my way of moving forward, is developing minimum viable product, which is a simple solution for a big problem that's very easy to execute. It's not trying to do all these fancy things. It's just trying to do one thing really good. Prove the concept, try to create, I'm looking at maybe producing 15 to 20 different software solutions over the next 12 months just to see which one is really going to stick. Because you can run these you can get a minimum viable product out for very, very little cash. And like in most businesses, and what's neat about AI is that it's lowered the risk tremendously. You can launch more quickly. You don't need as much capital to develop your minimum viable product. And the problem historically was it would cost you tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars to deliver a minimum viable product because you're paying a software developer $150 an hour, $250 an hour. You're going back and forth. It's a nightmare. But now you can actually do that in your free time. I'm sitting at home on the couch with my wife for a few hours a night, and I'm just typing on the computer. I'm having conversations with her. I'm doing some vibe coding with Replit. I'm creating some really cool stuff. So this is something that's not out of reach. This is something that you can do and you should be doing right now. I was talking to my brother. We're going to get into these 5 different business ideas, which I think are really interesting. I think you're going to really like them. I think it's going to light a fire, a spark under you. But I was talking to my brother, who is a software engineer. He does a lot of networking. He's a coder. And I was kind of talking to him about this. He's like, look, Mark, I like where your head's at, but there's a problem. All these things get complicated very quickly. The more decision trees that need to occur, everything from authentication, this stuff gets really complicated, Mark. So, this is a little risky. And it really got me thinking that if you're like me and you're just an average dude, smart, problem solver, motivated, what we want to be looking at is not developing out this robust ecosystem, but start with what's one very simple problem that we can create a solution for, like a one-touch solution. We hit, our consumer hits one button and they get the desired result. That's how we can get a really great minimum viable product out. And I said, well, Neil, my brother, what if we did something like that? What if I was focused on a minimum viable product? Once I get that out, I can hire a developer for, to come in and, once I get some cash flow going, I have some clients. I'm talking to clients, I'm selling it, I'm doing the marketing and sales, and I have a software developer come in and start to enhance it, improve the code, etc. He said, Mark, that is exactly where you want to be. That's exactly where you want to be. And then you start building out a team. And I said, well, and he's kind of mentioned to me that in the past he's worked on projects like that, but he just didn't feel the incentive to work. And I said, that makes sense. Well, I guess where I'm going to be, and this is my exact game plan, and you can feel free to flame me in the comments if you like, but this is my game plan. Minimum viable product, one-button solutions for a very specific niche, big problem that can be solved with one button that's AI-powered. Once that works, I hire some software developers to clean it out, clear it out. They'll probably be overseas, but kind of clean up the interface, make it more usable, just try to have more speed. And then it eventually, once we've proven concept, we're getting past that phase, then I will hire a real software developer and give them some stake in the company, right? Say, hey, this is what our trajectory is. You can, if you come in and you work on the code and you grow it out, I'll give you a 25% equity in the company. Let's scale it up to 10 million. We'll sell it. And then we can go from there. 10 million, 20 million, 100 million, whatever it is. We scale it up, we'll exit, you and I will both make a lot of money. We won't have to worry about money anymore. Which, by the way, going into this AI world, not having to worry about money is gonna be big. That's my game plan. Steal it, take it, critique it, all you like. It's all good. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, this is the business plan. This is what I'm gonna be executing on, spending 2, 3, 4 hours a night, banging out ideas, okay? So, where does that leave us? That leaves us at a place where we actually need to be figuring out what kind of ideas we want to work on. And obviously one of the big problems that is arising now and is going to be seriously exacerbated is the job search. People are going to be displaced from their jobs. They're going to need new jobs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you some stats. They're going to be compelling. I'm going to give you some potential AI solutions to solve these problems. So right now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates there are about 12.5 million Americans looking for jobs. This was actually a little bit outdated. This stat is from 2023. Okay, so there's a lot of people looking for jobs. About 7 million of them are unemployed looking for jobs, and another 5 million are actually employed but looking for different jobs, better jobs, right? So that's what's going on in the market right now. If we look at 2025, and the data is still pretty close, there's a little over 7 million people that are unemployed in America. This doesn't even count the rest of the world. Obviously, there's other people in the world that are unemployed and looking for jobs. Everyone can work remote. I have friends over in Thailand, Costa Rica, all over the world that are looking for work. So long story short, what do we got? We've got job opportunities, people are looking for jobs, and the World Economic Forum is anticipating 170 million new jobs over the next 4 years created. And they're anticipating, get this, 92 million jobs and employees that are displaced. 92 million people are going to be displaced from their job. That's a lot of people looking for work, okay? And you know, listen, you gotta feed your family, you wanna have purpose, you're gonna need work. So there's some stats. Let me give you another stat here. Let's say, for example, let's just say that at this current time, there's 7 million people that are looking for work, which I think is probably a pretty good number based on the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So 7 million people in the United States are looking for work. If we can capture 1% of them, that's 70,000 people. And what if we sold them something that was $5? $5 per month or $5 initially? That's $350,000, okay? That seems doable to me, guys. That seems doable to me. Job seekers. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, by the way. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. But I think those numbers are pretty interesting here. If we can capture 1% of the job searchers out there and charge them $5, which is pretty reasonable, it's a cup of coffee, that's a $350,000 business. And if you're able to get them on a monthly recurring revenue model or an annual revenue model, probably not for a job searcher, because the goal is, hey, we're gonna help you find your job quickly. You push this one button, it's gonna help enhance your job search. That's a winner. That's a winner, because you can get $5 from 70,000 people. It's a $350,000 business. Not to mention there's upsells and other things that you could do there, but let's just say that's what we're shooting for, okay? So with all that said, thanks for sticking with me. We are gonna get into 5 ideas to solve this market. So we've talked about the thought process between the type of business that we want to start, the type of software we want to develop. We've also looked at some statistics, and listen, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the job market, but that's what I'm talking about in this video today. And now we're going to talk about business ideas, and I'm using Grok for deep research. I'm using ChatGPT to build out different ideas. This is what I would challenge you to do so that you can start to think on your own and try to find gaps in the marketplace. Yeah, so that's where we are at. And by the way, if this is interesting to you, if you're really looking to get ahead, do me a favor, smash the subscribe and the like button, and it just lets me know that you're there. There are a lot of people, about 90% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. And if you're watching this video, if you're still here, then you definitely want to subscribe, because I'm going to keep bringing the heat, the research, the ideas, stuff that's working. Okay, so let's get into the first idea here. So the first idea here is a one-click AI job application. Taylor. One-click button. So what does this mean? Well, I was talking to a friend of mine that's ex-military, and he's looking for work. He said, Mark, it takes me so long to optimize my resume and my cover letter for all these different businesses. Well, this is how it works. This is how the idea works. It's very simple. Very simple. You upload your your stock resume, your stock information, experience, age, area, but the different stuff you put on your resume. You upload your resume. You upload a link to a job listing that you're interested in. This could be anything from a listing on Upwork, or Indeed, or LinkedIn, wherever. You upload that copy, and what this program will do is you click one button and it will give you an updated custom cover letter, and it'll tweak your resume to kind of match and mirror what that particular company will be looking for. That's it. It'll give you a PDF, and now you can just copy and paste that, download it, and upload it into your job searcher. So what this allows you to do, it allows you essentially to apply for a lot of jobs very quickly. And you might say, well, Mark, what about automatic uploads and this stuff? We're looking for MVP here. We're looking to see if this is just something that people actually want here, okay? So keeping it as simple as possible. You upload this, you upload a link, you pay $5, you get 50. Let's say you pay $5 for 50 custom searches. We'd have to do the tokenomics there to see the cost efficiency, but something like that I think would be pretty effective. So that's your first idea here. Because again, we're just trying to get 1% of the job searchers to pay us $5. That's it. Pretty interesting here. Next idea. LinkedIn Profile Optimizer. If you're a professional, if you're trying to find a job, you're definitely going to be using LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where people go to either get blown up by AI bots or where they go to search for a job and be highlighted. I know that's one of the things I look for when I'm talking to potential people. I go check them out on LinkedIn to see what they're doing professionally. So, but what most people don't understand is, how do I write an interesting bio? How do I optimize my title? How do I optimize descriptions, and where are the gaps? How do I get more referrals and reviews? These sorts of things. Well, what if there was a one button that you go to the LinkedIn Profile Optimizer, you copy and paste your LinkedIn profile, the link to your LinkedIn profile, and you just say, hey, audit my profile and tell me how to make it better. That's it. Super simple. And again, we'll call it $5. Maybe it's $1, whatever you want to do. Maybe there's some up charges, but for $5, it optimizes and helps you optimize your whole LinkedIn profile. Pretty simple idea. Now you might say, Mark, this is so easy. People just go to ChatGPT. That's not necessarily the point. The point is we're trying to think of very simple MVPs here. One button. What if you saw an ad that said, you're not getting hired because your LinkedIn profile sucks? This product, you can push one button and we're going to optimize your profile for you. Boom, done. Super simple, very easy to execute, and potentially could be $1 million. That could potentially be your $350,000 a month idea right there. Again, we just want 1% of the job searchers to give us $5 a month. Okay. Next idea, AI interview coach. So it's not enough just to get applied. We've already talked about a couple of ways to apply. We talked about application. We talked about getting reviewed. And now we're talking about having an interview coach, someone that can interview us and give us feedback on how to be better. This one is a little bit more complicated because you're going to need to essentially tell the AI who you are, the job that you're looking for, and which you can use an OpenAI API to connect that to Replit, but you're also going to need to implement an 11 Labs API as well for the voice. So it's a little bit more complicated, but not super complicated. And quite frankly, at this point in time, I love anything that's voice powered. AI voice is obscenely good. It is very hard to distinguish reality from AI in voice. So I like any sort of business that can be leveraging AI voice. So I like this idea a lot. A little bit more complicated than the previous two ideas, but still I think very doable, and it's just a cool idea, right? It's a cool idea because again, people don't have the confidence, but if you can train this AI to be, I don't want to say hypercritical, but to really give you feedback on, like, these are the questions, these are some answers, kind of get you prepped, I think that would be good. The only problem that I have with this idea is it takes a little bit more work for someone. And if there's anything I've learned in the business world, is people don't want to have to do any work. They want the result without the work. Okay, they want the result without the work. So this idea I think is cool. Again, we want to get it out quick. MVP, can we get people to apply for it? I mean, and you might say, well, maybe you can expand from this. Maybe it's not necessarily even an interview coach. Maybe it's a sales coach. Maybe it's an AI sales coach or something like that. So again, you can kind of expand this out. And by the way, there are going to be other AI sales coaches out there. There are going to be other programs out there like this, but what I would recommend if you're like, okay, let's search. Oh, there's another AI voice coach out there. I can't do this idea. Someone's already picked it. Well, what you can do is you can go riches are in the niches, and it could be, maybe it's an AI sales coach for real estate agents or an AI sales coach for SaaS products. Drill down, again, I think real estate's a good way to go because there's millions of real estate agents, and if you can find solutions to help them sell better, that's a great way to go. So just drill down. The riches are in the niches. People would rather work with a platform that's super specialized than something that's more general. And I saw a post from Alex Becker the other day. He's the founder of Hyros, and that's essentially what he said. He said, hey, listen, you build out your MVP and you just get laser focused on your niche. Know everything about them. Know your niche better than they know themselves, and just be really granular on solving their problems. So that's a good place to be. Okay, here's another idea, and this is an idea that I'm actually thinking about executing on. I think it's super cool, and this is basically, are you underpaid? It's an app that determines if you're underpaid. People hate to be taken advantage of psychologically. There's nothing that feels worse. Everybody thinks that they're worth more than they probably are, and I think this is a cool idea for an app. It says, hey, are you underpaid or not? And essentially what you do is you would go into the app, you tell them what you do, your value, and where you work, your area, geographic location, etc. You can even bring in industry trends and stuff, and then it'll tell you, well, based on everything that you're doing, you're getting paid $50,000 a year, but you should be, based on your skills and experience, trajectory, age, all the other types of factors that go into it, you should actually be closer to $55,000 a year. Boom. And maybe you even add a feature like this is how you actually can go into your boss and negotiate and get paid more. So that would be an extra layer. I would not get into the extra layer on the MVP, but if you can get people to actually upload the app, use it, pay you for it, I think that's a pretty cool way to go about it. And the last idea here, and by the way, if you're still here and you're enjoying this, if you think any of my ideas are great, type in the comments below. If you have a really good business idea and you write it in below, I will likely pin you. I'll likely pin your comment. So if you want to be found for, we're getting guys, we're getting tens of thousands of views right now on video on the channel. So if you want a chance to stand out, leave a good comment. I'll pin it. If it's great, I'll pin it. I've done it before. I'll do it again, and you have a chance to be seen. All right, appreciate that. Okay. Last idea today is are you hireable? Are you hireable? So the way this works is, again, you'll put in your resume, you'll put in your expectations, and you'll click a button. It'll tell you if you're hireable, and it'll lay out any gaps in your skill set, right? So for example, let's say you want to go into a field that requires a bachelor's degree. I'm sorry, you can't get into this because you have a bachelor's degree. And it'll essentially find gaps and give you a roadmap to shore up those gaps so you can get hired and retrieve your desired results. So again, these are 5 different business ideas plus the framework of thinking about what type of project you could work on. Because in my opinion, guys, now is the time to really dig in. If you can work on these different business ideas, guys, this is something, and I don't want to get too political in this video, but there was a knock against Donald Trump that, well, he's had bankruptcies in the past. He's had all these failed businesses. That's how it works, guys. Like, Warren Buffett has had like 3 big wins in his life. He's one of the richest guys in the world. It's not about winning every time. It's about taking a lot of shots. AI reduces the risk. It increases the speed to market. And if you can get your ideas out there quickly, get some traction, see what works, you can dump the ideas that don't work, you can dig into the ideas that do work. And that's where my head's at. I think that's where your head should be at. That's what I'm going to be working on for the next foreseeable future. Let's get after it, boys. Click like, click subscribe. I'll see you next one. Peace.